Like, what do I get? Like 60,000 views a video? But here's Rachel Demita interviewing her also, and some of the positive things she had to say about being drafted to the Fever.
Raven, congratulations. This is a huge day getting drafted to the WNBA, to the Indiana Fever.
Take a moment to really examine that response, because when it comes to Caitlin Clark, the question isn't about her talent at all. She's a top-tier player driven by an unshakable desire to win, and hearing that kind of statement from Raven Johnson only adds more weight to it. As the 10th overall pick by the Indiana Fever, Raven brings a viewpoint that matters, especially considering the history between these two. Just over a year ago in the 2024 NCAA championship game, Raven Johnson put on a defensive clinic against Clark, limiting her to just 5 makes out of 20 attempts when guarding her, effectively neutralizing one of the most dangerous point guards in college basketball. It was a performance that turned heads everywhere, and now, in an unexpected turn, they're teammates. The moment Indiana called Raven's name at pick 10, the internet reacted instantly, with a flood of sharp and critical opinions, questions about team fit, concerns over lack of size, and confusion over passing on a backup center dominated the conversation. That reaction was understandable at first glance, but beyond all the noise and criticism, there's a much bigger picture unfolding that many people are missing right now.
So, I was always telling myself that I want to go to a program that has a chance of winning a championship. And I think that's a really good program, winning a championship. But not even that, they have phenomenal women. And I'm glad to be a part.
Looking beyond the surface, the real message in those words becomes clear. They're intentionally building a winning culture around exceptional women, and none of it is by chance. Raven Johnson isn't merely a product of South Carolina's 2024 championship run. She's someone who was cut by the Seattle Storm in 2023, returned to college, and reshaped her game through relentless effort and discipline. Her three-point shooting improved significantly because she spent the entire offseason putting in the work, turning that setback into fuel, and that's precisely the mindset Indiana is choosing to invest in. Now, addressing the concern many keep raising, the Fever had already secured Tia Harris as a backup point guard while Caitlin Clark is firmly established as the starter, and they were clearly lacking frontcourt depth after Aaliyah Boston dealt with late-season injury issues. Even so, with the 10th pick, they selected another 5 feet 9 inches guard whose offensive game is still evolving, which at first glance feels difficult to understand. However, it begins to come together when you consider the broader strategy the front office is quietly putting in place, because this decision isn't focused on immediate 2025 outcomes. It's about positioning the team for a much bigger vision in 2026 and beyond, especially with Kelsey Mitchell on a 1-year Supermax deal, Lexi Hull also on a short-term contract, and multiple key rotation players tied to similar 1-year situations due to unavoidable financial constraints shaping the roster.
Which teammate at the Fever are you the most excited to play with?
Caitlin Clark.
What about Caitlin?
She's a phenomenal player. I mean, the things she does is bar standard. Like, she shoots the ball, could lead a team, and they win. Like, she has a winning mentality, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Because that's you.
Yep, exactly.
Is there a girl that you already know is going to take you under her wing?
Aaliyah Boston. Another game called Ty Harris. She's there, too. So
Hidden beneath everything is a financial storm most people are missing entirely. The new EPIC provision in the CBA has quietly tightened Indiana's salary cap flexibility, forcing the front office into a situation they simply can't ignore. This rule hands out automatic max contracts to players who earn all WNBA honors, and both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston reached that level last season. While Caitlin won't qualify for the EPIC provision in 2025, she will in 2026, bringing a massive $1.19 million salary alongside Boston's current max deal, which pushes the Fever straight into a serious cap crunch. The front office is already preparing for a possible roster shakeup next year, uncertain if keeping key players together will even be possible once those contracts rise. That's exactly why they're leaning into 1-year deals and focusing on the bigger picture instead of short-term fixes. Drafting Raven Johnson on a rookie contract isn't accidental. It's a strategic safeguard meant to preserve future flexibility. If Kelsey Mitchell leaves in free agency because Indiana can't afford her, they'll need a developing scorer ready to step up, and if other rotation pieces are lost due to cap pressure, having affordable young talent becomes critical. This is the deeper plan taking shape behind the scenes, but it carries real risk, as it depends on the team competing at a high level right now despite obvious roster gaps while simultaneously trying to build a stable future.
And also teaming back up with Aaliyah Boston.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is so crazy. Honestly, like she's the best to team up with. She's the best to look up to. I mean, she just has these pro habits of her. She has this this personality of her. It's great. Like, it's so bubbly, but she's also a great human being outside of basketball.
What do you want to share with the Indiana Fever fans? What can they expect from your game?
Yeah, defense tenacity. I like to get stops. I like to, steal the ball. I'm a gnat when it comes to stealing the ball, but not even that. I like to win. Like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. So I think that's what they should.
What truly sets her apart is an unrelenting defensive motor and non-stop intensity. She feeds off stops, creates chaos with steals, and competes with a level of toughness that simply can't be taught. That's not empty praise either. It's the core of Raven Johnson's identity on the court, and if that defensive impact carries over to the WNBA the way Indiana is hoping, then this pick starts to make real sense from a basketball standpoint. Think back to what powered the Fever's playoff push last season. Lexi Hull's perimeter defense was a major factor in that success. Whenever she shared the floor with Caitlin Clark, opposing guards found it difficult to get comfortable, and that defensive stability gave Caitlin the freedom to take more risks offensively, knowing she had support on the other end. At the same time, Lexi's three-point shooting reached elite efficiency, hitting 38% from deep alongside Clark compared to just 29% without her, clearly showing the Caitlin Clark effect. Her presence as both a shooter and playmaker lifts everyone around her, turning average shooters into dependable options and strong shooters into elite threats. If Raven Johnson can bring that same defensive energy while also spacing the floor and converting open looks created by Caitlin, then this decision starts to look far more intentional and well thought out. Still, there's an important difference that stands out. Lexi Hull, despite being 5 feet 9 inches, consistently plays bigger than her size, whereas Raven Johnson at 5 feet 9 inches tends to play more within her natural frame. The Fever were already one of the smaller teams in the league last season, yet they made it work with players like Erica Wheeler at 5 feet 6 inches and limited production from Katie Lou Samuelson, largely because Aaliyah Boston carried a heavy load anchoring the paint. That brings up a serious question going forward. If Boston needs more rest this season, how will this roster deal with elite size and physicality, especially against dominant teams like the Las Vegas Aces in another high-pressure playoff situation?
Raven Johnson is pretty versatile, and with so many people being on one-year contracts, they might be thinking of using Raven as a bit of a utility player. In 2024, when the South Carolina Gamecocks did go up against Iowa, when Raven was actually switched on to Caitlin, she held her to 5 of 20.
Asking for the screen. Goes away from it.
There were times when she had Caitlin Clark, the absolute best point guard in the NCAA at that time, in jail.
A rare one-shot trip for South Carolina. Can Iowa take advantage? Clark yet to score this quarter after 18 in the first. Here's Clark.
Go back and take a closer look at that 2024 NCAA championship clash between South Carolina and Iowa, because what Raven Johnson delivered wasn't just strong defense, it was total control on that side of the floor. When she matched up with Caitlin Clark, she didn't simply contest attempts, she disrupted the entire flow, forcing her into 5 for 20 shooting by taking away space, eliminating clean opportunities, and breaking the rhythm she usually commands so effortlessly. Caitlin struggled to create separation, couldn't find comfort in her movements, and most importantly, Raven accomplished all of it without fouling, without getting blown by, and without falling for any traps meant to force errors. That's elite point of attack defense at the highest level, and it translates when paired with the right IQ, and Raven Johnson has that, backed by a championship-level feel for the game. She operated within a dominant South Carolina system, making smart reads, rotating perfectly, and staying composed under pressure. Now imagine that defensive presence coming off the bench for Indiana, giving Caitlin Clark meaningful rest while still maintaining control, leading the second unit, and locking down opposing guards. Picture late-game moments where one stop is needed, and Raven is assigned to players like Kelsey Plum, Sabrina Ionescu, or Chelsea Gray. That's real value and a strong case for a 10th pick if it works out. But the concern remains clear and unavoidable. Raven Johnson averaged just 3.7 points per game in her senior season, playing a very limited offensive role focused on spacing, minimizing mistakes, and prioritizing defense. She isn't a natural
from your game.
Yeah, defense tenacity. I like to get stops. I like to, steal the ball. I'm a gnat when it comes to stealing the ball, but not even that. I like to win. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win, so I think that's what they should expect.
At the heart of it all is a mentality that simply can't be manufactured. Doing whatever it takes to win isn't just talk, it's something you have to prove, and Raven Johnson has already proven it through adversity. Getting waived from the WNBA, returning to college, winning a national championship, and completely rebuilding your shooting ability doesn't happen without relentless discipline and an elite work ethic. She's not the type of player who gets outworked or caught lacking, and when that mindset is placed into a locker room led by competitors like Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, it naturally fits a championship-driven culture. But shifting focus to another major storyline from draft day, the financial landscape of the league is becoming just as intense as the action on the court. Tammy Fagbentle securing a $1 million deal with the Toronto Tempo caught a lot of attention, especially for a role player who put up modest numbers with Indiana last season. While some may argue she contributed value, reports, including insights from Scott Agnes, pointed to minor internal communication issues. Nothing explosive, but enough tension in her direct approach to impact team dynamics. That context helps explain why Indiana chose not to protect her in the expansion draft and ultimately allowed her to leave. And when you see players like Jessica Shepard landing similar million-dollar deals, it signals a much larger shift across the league. These are reliable, experienced contributors, not superstars or franchise cornerstones, yet they're commanding significant salaries, in some cases even surpassing elite guards like Kelsey Plum. This reflects the evolving reality of the WNBA, where expansion teams are spending aggressively to build competitive rosters quickly.
WNBA draft, it does seem that Raven Johnson is the talk of the town after the Indiana Fever drafted her number 10. My immediate reaction was that this was not the best fit for the Indiana Fever, but today I am turning the page, I am diving in, and I want to analyze Raven Johnson a little bit more for the Indiana Fever. Oh, side note, Tammy Fagbentle just signed a $1 million contract with the Toronto Tempo, and I'll briefly touch on that.
What ultimately defines the Raven Johnson selection is the incredibly fine line Indiana is trying to balance between winning now and securing the future. On one hand, it's a calculated and intelligent move, bringing in an elite, championship-tested defender on a cost-controlled rookie deal at a time when their cap situation limits access to proven veteran depth, while also banking on Caitlin Clark's well-established ability to elevate those around her, something we've already seen with multiple teammates. If Raven even grows into an average offensive contributor, she quickly turns into either a key long-term rotation piece or a valuable trade asset, adding another layer of strategic value. But the risk is just as significant. This team was only one overtime game away from the WNBA Finals last season, yet instead of addressing immediate roster gaps, they invested a first-round pick in a player who may not contribute meaningful minutes right away. Concerns still linger around Aaliyah Boston's ankle and the overall lack of frontcourt depth, and the roster remains largely the same in a league where contenders like the Aces and Liberty have only improved while others continue aggressive retooling. Indiana is essentially wagering that its current core can compete for a championship immediately while also building for the future, a dual approach that is notoriously difficult to pull off. Teams that attempt it often fall short on both fronts, which raises the pressure significantly, especially on head coach Stephanie White, who now has to manage a complicated set of expectations. She's depending on Caitlin Clark to take a major leap in year 2, counting on Aaliyah Boston to return fully healthy and dominate, and navigating Kelsey Mitchell's urgency in a contract year as she looks to secure her future. At the same time, she must integrate and develop Raven Johnson into a reliable contributor without disrupting the team's competitive flow. It's a delicate balance of rotations, roles, personalities, and expectations, and if it fails, if Indiana takes a step back because immediate needs weren't addressed, the backlash will be intense and impossible for the organization to overlook. If everything unfolds the way Indiana is quietly planning, this move won't just age well. It could be remembered as a franchise-defining decision. If Raven Johnson becomes the elite lockdown defender they project and grows into even a reliable offensive option alongside Caitlin Clark, then this pick suddenly represents the ideal blend of present success and future stability. The entire approach is built on belief. Belief in Clark's power to elevate everyone around her, belief that Raven's defensive instincts are impactful enough to translate immediately, and belief that her relentless work ethic will gradually expand her offensive game. There's already real proof backing this strategy, with Clark helping transform players like Lexi Hull into a dependable 3, and Dee Presence and elevating Aaliyah Boston into a more efficient and dominant force within the system, accelerating Indiana's rise into contention faster than expected. What makes Raven especially compelling is that her defensive upside could surpass